Welcome to the Goalbusters Expert Peak Productivity Tips podcast, where top business experts get just 7 minutes to answer 5 rapid-fire questions about what they do and how they stay productive. Each episode is packed with actionable insights to help boost your efficiency and achieve your goals. Let's dive in and unlock the secrets to peak performance. Well, hello everyone. My name is Robin J. Emden, and I am the creator and author of the Get Resultsology system and a dedicated accountability coach. My mission is to empower solopreneurs to unlock their true potential, boost their income, and achieve extraordinary success by maximizing productivity, streamlining their businesses, and aligning their goals with their authentic vision and purpose. So, if you're ready to turn ambition into action and transform your goals into reality, you're in exactly the right place. And speaking of being in exactly the right place, I am delighted to welcome our guest expert today, Stacey Brown Randall. Stacey is an award-winning author, host of the Roadmap to Referrals podcast, and expert in generating business referrals naturally. No asking, incentives, or manipulation required. Her books include Generating Business Referrals Without Asking and the upcoming The Referable Client Experience, coming out in October 2025. Stacey has been featured in Entrepreneur, Forbes, Investors, Business Daily, and more. She holds a master's in organizational communication and is married with 3 children. Stacey, welcome to Goalbusters.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm delighted to be here.
I'm delighted you're here too, just back for your vacation too. What a hard start to the week.
No, this is a nice and easy start. You're asking the questions, right? I don't have to come up with them myself.
That is true. That is true. What part of the world are you in, Stacey?
So I am in the States. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh, lovely. A nice part of the world. I think it's quite green there, isn't it?
Quite green, and this time of year, quite hot.
Yes, indeed. Yes, we established that earlier with the conversation we had before the call about air conditioning. All right, I'm waffling on. Shall we do the questions?
Let's do it.
All right, let's get the clock up on the screen, and there it goes. Stacey, could you tell me, please, who is your ideal client?
Yeah, so I work with small business owners. Sometimes I say the smaller, the better. They're typically what I call expert-based business owners, which means they're good at doing something. So they're a great attorney, or they're a great interior designer, or they're a great marketing consultant. And then they decide, now I want to also start a business, which means they then have to figure out how to get clients, and that leads them to figuring out sales. And then they find me because they want something that doesn't feel as awkward as some of the sales tactics that are out there. So I work with those expert-based business owners that really are referral worthy. They just need to figure out how to receive them.
Ooh, referral worthy. That's a new term I haven't heard before. I like that. I'm going to pinch that one. All right. So what exactly is the problem that you solve?
So I teach business owners how to increase the number of referrals they receive. So this is referrals meaning a new prospective client. And I teach my clients how to do that. I'm kind of a contrarian in the referral space. Most people will teach you that you need to ask or compensate or take advantage of reciprocity. And I teach a strategy. It's called my Referrals Without Asking methodology. The framework and methodology and philosophy are based around how to generate referrals naturally. So you're not asking, you're not manipulating, you're not incentivizing, and you're not wasting a lot of time running around to a bunch of networking events trying to meet people all the time so they'll remember you. We use the science of referrals to really be able to generate referrals in an easier way.
Yes. And as everybody that understands marketing knows, referrals marketing is without doubt the most powerful form of marketing. That's my opinion, but that's what I found too.
Well, I agree with you. I think your opinion is right.
Yes, of course you do. Yeah, absolutely. Well done. All right. So what is one valuable free action that the audience can implement that will help them with this?
Yeah, so I always find that when people come to me and they're like, hey, I need to get more referrals, I'm like, you're probably sitting on referrals you don't even know you have. or that you have, but you're not paying attention to them in the right way. So, your lowest hanging fruit and the easiest thing for any business owner to do is to start what we call identifying your who. And your who is specifically people who have referred you. They're either referring you now or they've done it in the past. So, we refer to those as existing referral sources. So, the ability to identify who are the people who refer prospects to me that may or may not turn into a client, doesn't matter, right? But who are those people? And having that list in black and white is truly your business's low hanging fruit. It is your list of gold. Knowing who's already receiving you makes it much easier to put a plan in place to start receiving more referrals from those folks before you turn your attention to try to get new people to start referring you. It's so much easier to get someone who's already referred to do it again before you get someone new to refer you for the first time. So always start by identifying your who, and that's your existing referral sources.
Yep, totally right. Absolutely right. I don't. You don't need me to tell you that, but I know I know you're right. So now that we have a better understanding of what you do, let's dive into goal busting, which is focusing on how to maximize productive time to achieve business goals. Stacey, could you share any tips or advice for someone looking to improve their productivity habits?
Yeah, I love this question. I used to be a certified productivity coach. I haven't done that in many, many years. So I still deploy a lot of the same tactics in my own business that I used to teach my clients. I don't get to talk about this as much. So I really appreciate this question, and the focus of your entire podcast being on this. I have two that I think are huge. The first one is what I call shrink the container. Anytime you can shrink the amount of time you give yourself to either work in a day or to get a project done, you will have better results and actually staying focused, right? So, the most dangerous word I believe when it comes to trying to be productive is later. I'll do that later because later just gives you an excuse. And later is like in 2 hours and 2 days and 22 days and 22 months. Like it just kind of, like we start kicking that task, right? That task, that can down the road with that task. And so when you can shrink the container, like, hey, I end every day at 2, and you are sticking to that, and you're not like 2 becomes like 3:30 every day, but when you say it's 2, it forces you to focus better and to get into a better flow so you can get more work done. The other tip that I would give is about really protecting one day a week just for whatever you need it to be about. Whether that is, I usually use Mondays as what I refer to as my plow days, which is not a very polite terminology, but for me, it's just I just plow through work. Like my assistant knows we don't book anything on that day other than her and IT meeting. And I like the emails are usually the heaviest from me on that day because I am just plowing through work because I know Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm going to have calls. I'm going to be meeting with clients. I'm going to be doing podcast interviews. I'm going to do my own podcast recordings, recording videos, whatever it is. All the other work is going to happen Tuesday through Thursday. And so for me on Mondays, it's all about here's what I'm going to accomplish, and I protect that day.
Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, I love that. And I'll do it later or I'll do it tomorrow is the famous procrastinator's mantra.
Yes.
Absolutely. Okay. So I could probably stop and talk to you about that all day, but we've only got 1.5 minutes left. So I need to ask you, what should I have asked you today, Stacey, that I didn't? And your answer, please.
Well, I mean, truly, there are so many things we could continue to talk about from a productivity perspective and a referral perspective. But I think the one thing I want your audience to take away from this conversation is really understanding if they've been taught that negative, tired, old school traditional advice about referrals, like I have to ask and I have to have a script to how to ask and I've got to ask everybody and that's got to be the trigger for people to refer me or paying them or whatever it is, those old school tactics that when you hear them, they just hit your gut as wrong. You're like, that's not how I want to show up. That's not how I want to be seen in the marketplace or seen by my colleagues. In that moment, I just want people to understand that there's actually a framework. We call it the referrals without asking framework that's based on the science behind how referrals actually work. And it does with the brain science, psychology of trust, the dynamics of social networks, and then also behavioral economics. Like there is science behind what I teach my clients to understand that you can generate referrals, do it in a way that's going to work, but it's also going to respect your relationships. Because I think that's one thing people worry about when they're trying to generate referrals and they've been told they have to ask is damaging relationships. And a lot of times when you are asking or paying people for referrals, you you are damaging that relationship, even if you don't know it or see it. And so understanding the science behind referrals is the key to being able to generate them, sometimes double, triple, quadruple the amount that you've ever received before, and really knowing there's science behind it, and that's why it works.
Yes. And am I right in saying that the part of the science is you're really tapping into the fact that happy customers really want to be able to refer?
So, it's interesting, and this is actually what my second book, The Referable Client Experience, will address when it comes out in October. Most people think if I do great work, then I'm worthy of referrals and I should get referrals. But then you don't. And you're
No, you
like,
don't.
does that mean I'm not doing great work? And you're like, no. What the science tells us is thinking you're amazing and being willing to hire you again doesn't like jump the gap to people also then thinking about referring you to other people. There are things you have to do to bridge the gap so that people who do adore working with you and love working with you will actually start to see opportunities to refer to you. So I always tell folks, like, if you do great work and you don't get a lot of referrals, there's nothing wrong with you. It doesn't mean you don't do great work. It means that you haven't yet really had your clients start thinking about the whole idea of referring you. And how we do that is through our language. And it's never by asking or compensating or anything like that. We do it from a place of gratitude.
Yes, exactly. And also, I'm sorry, I slipped in an extra question there, but I really wanted to tap into your expertise.
Yeah.
And I thought it was very worthwhile as well. All right. But speaking of worthwhile, how can people get in touch with you? And is there like a valuable free resource they can get from you? Which I always say is a cheeky question, but it's not really. I'm asking you, how can they get a taste of what you do so they can start building a relationship with you and finding out more about whether your offer is something that's a good fit for them?
Yeah, well, like most businesses that works across the globe, there's lots of ways you can kind of like get a taste of what I do. If you're a podcast listener, because you're listening to this podcast, of course, my podcast, you can add it to your list of podcast that you subscribe to. It's Roadmap to Referrals. My YouTube channel is Referrals Without Asking. So if you like videos over podcasting, that's fine. I have a book out. I'll have another book coming out if you like to read. Of course, if you go to my website, StaceyBrownRandall.com, and Stacey is spelled with an E. If you go to my website, there is a ton of resources. There's articles that you can read. There's more information on how I kind of created my methodology. But I think the best place for your audience to get started is to dig in more to the science piece of the science behind referrals, because at the end of the day, that's what people understand as, okay, now I can start to see how what Stacey would teach me will actually work, and I'll enjoy it, and it'll respect my relationships. That's the first hurdle people have to get over is, am I going to damage relationships or not following this methodology that Stacey's teaching? So if you want to watch, it's like a 7-minute video. I break down quite quickly the science of referrals. And you just go to StaceyBrownRandall.com/science, and you can put in your name and your email, and it'll send you a link to that video that you can watch.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Thank you so much. Stacey, it's been a pleasure. I feel a kindred spirit in terms of marketing. I love what you're doing. I know it works. I know it works well. And it's lovely to hear someone that really understands it a lot better than I do, to be fair. But it's lovely. And it's been an absolute pleasure and a joy listening to you today. Thank you for doing this, Stacey.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
You're very welcome. So that's it. That's the end of our podcast today. So remember, everybody, keep goal busting. Make your future self proud. Thanks for tuning in to Goalbusters. If you're enjoying it, please subscribe, rate and review it on your favourite podcast platform. Your support is very much appreciated. And if you're ready to boost your online profits, skyrocket your productivity, crush procrastination, and see a positive change in your bank balance, all within just 30 days, this is your opportunity. Take my free 5-day challenge at www.skyrocketyourproductivitychallenge.com.